Hi, my name's Savannah, and I am a radio personality, a YouTube creator, and the international ambassador for one of the most amazing, fantastic, exciting, and important places in the entire state of Florida. Can you guess what place that is? It's Gatorland, you're right. The alligator capital of the world. Now, you might have heard of Gatorland before because it's been here since 1949, and it is a Florida icon. But if you haven't been to Gatorland, well, shame on you, because you're missing out on one of the fastest growing, most integral conservation programs in the whole entire world. Let me go back a little bit. I can't remember when I started loving alligators and crocodiles. I just always did. You know that feeling you get when you see your true love or you eat your favorite ice cream? Well, that's how I feel every time I see an alligator or crocodile. I get butterflies in my stomach. I get super excited. The state of Florida is the only place in the entire world where alligators and crocodiles coexist naturally. So we can together not only brag about our amazing American alligator population, but we can also brag about our amazing American crocodile population. We have spectacled caiman too, but they're invasive, so I don't want to talk about that. We very rarely get to see American crocodiles here in the state of Florida for various reasons. They're a very shy crocodile. They kind of hang out by themselves, minding their own business, doing crocodile stuff. But loss of habitat and human encroachment put them on the endangered species list up until about 2007, when their status was changed back to threatened. Now, for 7 years of my life, I lived in Southern California working at a reptile zoo, and it was fantastic. I worked with giant monitor lizards, big, huge pythons, but it wasn't my dream job. Gatorland was always the dream job. And I was calling and calling, but they weren't calling me back. I wasn't going to give up, though, because I knew they needed me. Did you know that in the 1980s, Gatorland worked in conjunction with the University of Florida to artificially inseminate the very first American alligator? The populations were at their lowest in the 1980s, and because of that collaboration, the alligator numbers in the state of Florida are back to stable. And they have my favorite animal in the whole entire world, the Cuban crocodile. And if you don't know about Cuban crocodiles, know this. They're like the crocodilian version of the members of Mensa. If they played football, they'd be the NFL All-Stars. They are not naturally afraid of humans. They are curious about everything. And if that wasn't enough for you, let me tell you this. They evolved differently than normal crocodiles because they don't just hunt in the water, they hunt on the land too. Cuban crocodiles used to hunt down gigantic ground sloths that topped out at over 15 feet tall. That's a badass crocodile. So, I moved back from California to Florida with one goal: work for Gatorland. I was sleeping on a friend's couch. I didn't have a job. I had very little money, but big dreams of working for Gatorland. So I did what any normal person would do in my same situation. I saved every penny I had, and I flew to Cuba. Now, I don't speak Spanish. I don't know one person in Cuba. I had no cell phone, no Wi-Fi, and the place where the crocodiles live is 4 hours away from Havana. So I was basically in Cuba, off the grid, with nothing but my cell phone full of pictures of scientists, conservationists, and screenshots of baby Cuban crocodiles. And somehow I did it. I was able to connect enough dots and talk to enough people to find myself at the Criadero de Cocodrilo in the heart of Zapata Swamp, Cuba, the epicenter of all Cuban crocodile knowledge. I did it. I went to the place that was in National Geographic and Encyclopedia Britannica. I was learning every day, and the people in Cuba treated me so amazing, even when I ran out of money. And I was just some crazy girl that showed up in a United States Marine Corps tank top. When I came back to Florida from Cuba, I was on a mission, and this time I didn't just apply at Gatorland. I kicked the door down. I did to Gatorland what I did to Cuba. I showed up unannounced. I worked really, really hard, and I wouldn't take no for an answer. I've made a lot of friends a lot of co-worker friends since I've been at Gatorland, and by that I mean the animals. Humans I'm still working on. This guy right here is Owen Godwin. He is the founder of Gatorland, and man, was he something else. Big personality, just like mine, flashy dresser, and Gatorland is still owned and operated by the very same family. It feels amazing to be such a part of a great legacy. But Gatorland works with the Florida Wildlife Commission, and we don't just save alligators. We save bobcats, we save otters, we save snakes, we save raccoons, possums, and this beautiful African serval named Jabari, who's the coolest cat I ever seen. It seems like the land in Florida is being developed very rapidly, while Gatorland has remained an oasis for the wild. We are a mecca for migratory birds like egrets, heron, and even the elusive roseate spoonbill. Gatorland allows all of the nature to come into the park and share it. And if I learned one thing in Cuba, it's that the world needs us just as much as we need them. So, after a lot of insatiable urging, we developed something called Gatorland Global, and we are now taking care of Cuban crocodiles in Cuba, Indian gharials in India, American crocodiles in both Jamaica and South Florida. And if you don't get it yet, know this: I love alligators and crocodiles. And I want you guys to see them differently too, because they are an often misunderstood part of the ecosystems in which they thrive. And the truth is, they have a lot more to fear from us than we do from them. Animals around the world are trying to survive, but loss of habitat and human encroachment is making that almost impossible. So tonight when you go home, feel really good inside and know that your very own homegrown roadside attraction is doing its part globally to save the animals that most people don't love, but we sure do. Thank you.